Okay, so this is our quick tutorial on how to make a heat sensor. We'll start with a basic heat sensor and then we'll look at some advanced things that we can do as we go along. Now, when you open up Microbit, you're going to start off with these obviously original blocks that come in just as a starting point. We don't want this one, so we're going to get rid of that one for now. We're just going to be working with our forever block here. Now, for our heat sensor, we want it to react to different heats. So we want to, first of all, go down to our logic block here. And we want to bring in this one here, an if and an else. So what we're trying to do here is say to it, if the temperature is one thing, we want it to do something else. If it's something else, we want it to react in a different way. Now, what we want to do with our heat sensor is we're going to be attaching a color changing LED to it so that when the temperature is a higher temperature, for example, we want the LED to, I don't know, go red. And if it is obviously a low temperature, we want it to go blue, indicating hot and cold. That's a nice simple thing we can do there. So we've got this part here. First thing we want to be able to do is for it to be able to detect temperatures. So we're going to go back into our logic gate and we're going to go back here to comparisons and we're going to get, they're basically the same, these two, because they've got the drop down menu. So I'll just grab either of them for now. I've got my comparison block and you notice as I bring it here, when I start to get these two little red tabs where it's almost snapping into place. So I'm going to bring that into there and I've got it if something is something. So the first thing I want to be able to do is for it to detect if the temperature is something. So now I'm going to go back into my inputs and we're going to go down to temperature. There it is. And again, you'll notice the little red tab there. There we go. Right. So if the temperature is now in this part here, I want it to be, let's say, over. So if the temperature is over, let's say 30 degrees is a nice simple one to work with. So if the temperature is over 30 degrees, I want my LEDs to be changing red. So now I want to start fitting my LEDs into place. Now, with the color changing LED component that we've got, there's 3 pins to it. Obviously the RGB, red, green, blue. So I want to go into my advanced down here and pins. Now, when I've gone into advanced, it's given me a few more options down here. My pins option will give me this one here. This is what I want, a digital write pin, because what I'm going to do is on my multicolor changing LED component, it will have 3 pins to it. In fact, I want to duplicate this and do it another 2 times because I've got 3 pins, one for the R, one for the G, and one for the B, the red, the green, the blue. Now I need to go into these pin options here. There's loads I can use here. I'm going to start with 0, 1, and 2 because they're the most basic, simple pins to work with. And I'm going to assign each pin 0, 1, and 2 to a different pin on my color changing LED when I actually connect it up. And so at this point here, so red, green, blue, I want it to be red when it's over 30. So I'm going to set red to on. This is binary, zeros and ones. 1 means on, 0 means off, essentially, very basically there. So I've set it to turn the red part of my LED on and the other 2 off. So when the temperature is over 30, it will be red. Good, that's what I want it to do. Now I need it to do something when it is not 30. So if it's over 30, it's going to do this. This is where this part comes into play, else. So if it is not over 30, what do I want it to do? Well, I'm going to go back down to my pins option. I'm going to get another one of these digital write pins in here. And guess what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to duplicate it 2 more times to do this. So I'm going to set these pins again like they were before, pin 1 and pin 2. Right, now this time, so what I now want to do is here, it was red, on, off, off. I wanted it to be red when it was over 30. If it's not over 30, in other words, if it's under 30, I now want it to be blue. So remember what I said here, RGB. That's how I'm going to connect them up. So red will be off, green will be off, RGB blue. That's what I want. I want that to be on, which represents my cold. So as a very simple thing here, I've now got it, and I can actually play around with bits here. So there's a little simulator there. It doesn't really have the simulator for the color changing LED. We'll actually have to download that and put that onto the Microbit later on. But what we've got here is our red and our blue showing up. Now, it would be good if I could see what the temperature is in the room at all times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my basic block. I'm going to find another forever block right here. Now, what I want to be able to do is essentially this code part again, but I'm going to bring in a basic which says show number. Okay, so right now it's going to, once that, so yeah, there we go. There's my simulator. It's just showing a 0 because right now in my show number option, I've got a 0 in there, but I want it to show the temperature. So let's go back into my inputs. Let's find the temperature again, and let's whack that in there. So now, once that's reloaded, there we go. It's forever showing the temperature. And the default temperature here is 21 degrees. Now I can move this little bar up and down and do bits. I'm not going to do that just yet. But right now, it's telling me the temperature of the room, 21 degrees. Now, if my room temperature goes up a bit, it's now going to say, there we go, 23 degrees. And if I take it down a bit, and there we go, 20 degrees and so on and so forth. And it takes a bit of time to update, but that's fine. I'm going to leave that back at 20. Oh, yeah, 21, sure. Right. So this is my basic temperature sensor telling me what's going on here, and it will change red and it will change blue when I need it to. So what I am going to do here is, here's a test that I did earlier. So as you can see, I plugged it in. Notice my wires, my RGB are connected to the pins that I assigned them to on the code. And when the temperature was below 30 degrees, my blue light was on. The minute it went over 30 degrees, the red light came on. And that's a simple test there to see it actually works. Now, we can start looking at this code now and go, right, that's our basic understanding there. What more can we do with this? We could do so much more with this. There's so many different things we could do. I could start off by this little plus button down here. I can click that and I can put an else if. Now I'm going to need to change some bits around here. I'm going to need to bring another one of these. In fact, I can just go ahead and duplicate that. And there we go. And I've got another one of those in there like so. Now, let's go to right. If it's over 30, let's say if the temperature is under, let's put 25 in there. So if the temperature is under 25, I want to bring all of this back up there. So now, if it's over 30, it's red. If it's under 25, it's blue. But what happens when it's between 25 and 30? Well, that's my else down here. So if that's happening, else if that's happening. Otherwise, when it's between those two, I want to do all this again. So I'm going to go down to my pins here, and I'm going to bring them in again and duplicate it and duplicate it, so on and so forth. I'm going to put my pin 0, pin 1, and pin 2. Now let's decide what I want it to be. Well, if it's cold and it's blue and it's hot and it's red, well, the color between them is purple. So let's go ahead and make a purple, and I can do that by turning the red and the blue on. When the red and the blue are both on, it will make a purple on my color changing LED. So this is now a nice little, I've just modified the code a little bit, but now I've made it so that when my temperature is below 25 degrees, it will show a blue light showing me that it's too cold. When it is over 30 degrees, it will show a red light telling me it's too hot. And when I've got that sweet spot between those two temperatures, which is what I've assigned it, I've just decided that's what I want it to be. I've decided that I'm going to show a purple on there. Now I could make those temperatures whatever they want to. Maybe I could change this one to 20 if I really wanted to. I could do all sorts of things. Then I've got a 10-degree range and it will still work like that. I can even start messing around with a few other things as well. So what if I wanted to do something other than the temperature? What if I wanted to show little emoji pictures of faces? I wanted to have little sirens in it. Here's an example of a modified code that I've done to do a number of things. So here I've got this situation where my temperature is doing all the same things as before. This time, instead of showing that temperature constantly going across the screen, I can have a happy face when I'm in that happy medium of between 25 and 30. It's a happy face. I've got this kind of sad, sweaty face when it's over 30, this kind of like chattering teeth, cold face when it's below 25. I've even got some warning signals in there. So when it goes over, it'll play this kind of rising warning signal melody, tell me it's over 30 degrees, like a siren. This one here is another siren when it's below 25 degrees. And when it's in my sweet spot, I don't want it playing any noises. I'm only want it to alert me when it's gone over and under. And there's some variations there as well, sort of thing. I can actually um, even test that out actually. So where am I? So I can go to go. That's a sad face. It's over 30 degrees, and it's not happy about that. Go on and so forth. Right, that's going to get annoying real quick. So there we go. Okay, and that's a basic understanding of the temperature gauging sensor that we can do on a microbit. These are the modifications that we can make. Just have a play around, do something interesting with it. Try and find something new that you can do with it as well. But you can see, and we can keep adding extra rules. We can add extra colors. We can do more variations. There's so much more you can do with it. So have a play around, see what else you can do. But that is a basic understanding of the temperature sensor that's found in the microbit.